Hello, hello, hello. How about now? Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Hello.
Ah, as if it's the first time I'm doing this. It's not like it's episode 64 and I'm forgetting my mic to be open. Oh dear. So, hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to another time to talk. Good evening, Faye. How are you doing?
Oh, hello, Rafael and everyone. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. And happy to be here with you, with our friends too. Yeah.
Nice. If you just stumbled upon us, what are we doing here? Let's say, welcome to Time to Talk. Look, Time to Talk is our fortnightly program where we just come together to have a conversation about a topic related to mediumship. Idea behind Time to Talk is not to be a lecture. The idea is that we have a chat. So as much questions, as much comments, as much tales that you have, stories you want to share, anything in your mind, put it in a chat. We're going to bring it up, and so we can talk about it openly. And before we go in, let me quickly go through our broadcasters who help us, have been helping us for nearly 3 years now. First of all, SSL, Spiritist Society of London, is a study group, a Spiritist group, dedicated to studying and practicing Spiritism in the UK. SSL has online sessions and face-to-face sessions. If you'd like to know more about SSL, go check their page so you don't miss out on anything. SSL is affiliated to BUS, the British Union of Spiritist Societies. BUS works like a federation trying to connect the multiple Spiritist groups there are here in the UK, as well as some groups outside internationally. Same thing, BUS has a lot of initiatives and spreads a lot of the initiatives and activities, events happening from the other groups. So go check their page, make sure you don't miss out on anything. And our third one is Kardec Radio, which has been around for over 12 years now, bringing a lot of content about Spiritism in English all over the globe. Go check their page, follow them, so you don't miss out on anything. All three of them allow us to bring Time to Talk to life. Today is episode 64, and we're going to talk about healing. Healing is a powerful word, I would say, because a lot of people, I guess, they start their journey into themselves or into their spiritual side of life because they are going through difficulties, problems, issues. Sometimes it's from a physical perspective. Sometimes it might be a disease, and sometimes it might be something that they're going through physically. Sometimes it's something that they're going through with their family or with their partners or with their friends. Sometimes something psychological that they might be going through, emotional. But in any ways, there's always an element of discomfort. I'm going to call it discomfort to be soft, to be nice. That invites people to try to find alternative understandings and journeys to the problems that they are facing. That's why I say healing is a powerful word, because healing is such a broad word. What do we mean by healing? Healing of what? Healing through what? And I have many things for us to think about and reflect upon today about healing. But first, I want to say hello to anybody who's online. If you're online, drop a note, say where you are, what's your name, so I can say hi to you. And I can see I already have somebody with us. Yay! Edilson da Gama. Hi, Edilson. Edilson, I say good evening. Glad to be here listening to you. Spiritist and Healing Center in Brazil. Nice.
Excellent.
So nice to have you with us, Edilson. Faye,
Yes.
might be a personal question. So apologies for that. But
It's coming.
here it goes. What made you search for the spiritual knowledge or spiritism, or however you found spiritism?
It's always a good question, and that was. It wasn't. Is it my son's too loud? Maybe.
No,
It wasn't. It was. I would say early age. It's still in school time, mind you. I had heard people talk about this, and of course, in family talk in the language, there was always a reference to some sort of alternative to some healing. So there was this idea was lingering there, and I remember seeing people feeling unwell. Not necessarily physical ailment or something, but feeling some sort of discomfort like that. And they said that they were going to look for some healing. To me, what happened was that I felt disappointed. I remember well, I was 14, and I felt deeply disappointed with the teachings that I was getting at the time. I think I had a deep religiosity, a religious inclination that I had learned from my father, and especially, and I was having the teachings, things at school that did not sound right. They did not ring right. They did not allow me to move on and ask questions, and the answers that I got didn't feel quite enough.
Right. Yeah.
And then I felt odd in that group, and so I went to chapel. And there was usually an image that I didn't like anyway. It was there. There was a huge crucifix, and I didn't like it. But then I had a talk, one-to-one. Very respectfully, I said, "I'm sorry, I don't think I'm good enough for you, and I think it would be too pretentious of me to say all this is not good for me, so I don't fit in here, so I'm out." And then I started to look for information and took for books and people who could help me answer questions about existence and extended spiritual matters.
Right. But I love that curious spirit of yours is what kind of took you, or maybe questioning spirit of yours took you in this direction. But I'm going to try to bring that to healing again, because what isn't the journey of a lot of people who end up searching for alternative ways of healing, if not finding the right answers, not finding a cure, not being able to identify something that kind of connects to the needs that they are. This is usually what make people look for alternative types of healing. And I keep thinking about history, and I think in every moment, in all types of, I dare say, tribes or societies, or whatever it is, there is always the image, the character of somebody who is able to cure, to heal, and so on. And not only in the aspect of providing medicine, but things that go beyond that.
Can I add something
Yes.
to that story? So that it doesn't come across as if I was saying something that doesn't match your perspective.
Yeah.
I was looking for healing, a healing to my sadness of unfulfilled life. I felt that was more to life. There was more, even in the rituals and everything, that was being denied. So it's almost like as if you've been looking for home. And I remember that first time after going round and round and round, and I got to the Spiritist Federation in São Paulo. And I was there for the first time. I got home, I got to my house, and I said to my parents, I think I found home. I felt at home, and I can't wait to go back. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very nice way of describing it. Do you think I wanna go to the mediumship, and I want to bring the link the healing to mediumship, but I think there's more for us to explore here. Do you think, or did you meet people? Let me ask a different question. When you started, get in touch with Spiritism in the Federation in São Paulo, did you learn about what kind of healing, I guess, activities they had?
Yes. I was introduced to them, and it and I think it was part of the procedure of getting into the houses, to have to sort of cleansing. So there was the healing. There was the number of sessions to attend, because I would be soon directed to the medium school.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I said, well, first you need to feel a bit more balanced, a bit more stable.
Mm-hmm.
Or the feelings there are lots of there was a turmoil of questions, or what was right or what wasn't, and of perceptions and all that needed to be educated in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So so they said, well, the next step is, first you will do this, but you're going to the school.
And because one of the things when you talk about, we have many episodes ago, we started to talk about the different mediumistic works that you would usually find in a spiritist group, in a spiritist center.
Yeah.
And two of them were related to the idea of healing. The very common one. One is what here we just call the lay on of hands, or we just call general healing. And the other one, which is more related to specific conditions that you might be looking for medical treatment, that you are being treated medically, and then there's an element of spiritual healing that is added to it as well.
Yeah.
One a bit more generic, the other one a bit more specific, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But what the spirits brings to us is that the idea of, if we are all energy, if our thoughts, we talk about thought a lot here, if our thoughts carry with it intention, quality, in the end they are energy, and we are all we emanate and we receive those waves. Our bodies, they play a big part in reacting to the different energies that we create and we absorb. So whenever we're talking about any imbalance, any issues that we might have in our body, that will translate into a symptom, into an illness, into a problem, they might and probably will have a connection to our thoughts, the way we think, the way we act, the energies that we find ourselves around, and etc. That is a very basic principle that we start to understand once we start to learn about Spiritism and about how we function as a spirit, as a perispirit, which is the intermediate between our spirit and our body.
Yes.
Right? We learn that our body is a reflection of our moral state and of our history and how we deal and operate with things.
Yes. I want to compare that, Rafael, to so this, when you say to be this awareness, and the awareness sometimes could be more instinctive, but it is so many times guided by someone who's got the awareness and is a good teacher to help us through and seeing it. I would compare it in a simple way. We all have voice. We all have a voice. Yeah. But not some people are aware of the potential of that voice, of how to use it, how to project it. But apart from speaking and making, the odd noise of laughter and this and that, some people feel that they can sing. Others believe that they can't until they try or are taught to find in themselves the resources that makes them singers. Just like people have hands and they use their hands to cook, to do all sorts of chores and writing. And some have the feeling that they could be musicians. Others think they wish they could, but they don't have the awareness that in fact they can. And that sometimes it's not exactly a matter of talent, but it's a matter of awareness and technique to learn and see it, appreciate it, understand it, exercise it, and put it for a purpose, and give it a new purpose. And that's how I see mediumship and how I see healing in mediumship.
You mentioned something that I think it's an important one, and Edilson gave us a comment. I'm going to bring it up, and it was an awareness. I think the awareness was what kind of popped for me. In two senses. One, of course, as you mentioned, from a mediumship perspective as a medium, but also the awareness that comes with the knowledge of how we operate as spiritual beings, right? Again, trying to bring the idea of being sick. Being sick, you have symptoms, but if you treat symptoms, let's go to as a basic parallel.
Yeah.
If you have a sickness, if you're an illness, and then you start to treat the symptoms, you might feel better for a while, but you will be sick again. You need to understand what is causing that sickness. What is the root cause of that?
Yeah.
the more we understand that our bodies are just a reflection of what's going on in our minds and what's going on in our spirit, the better we try to localize the root of our sickness or illnesses, not only in what is reflection in our body, but also in our minds, in our spirit. That is the background for the rest of the conversation I'm going to have today. That is the background. That's the background.
That's great.
And, Edilson, let me bring his comment here because it just goes so hand in hand with what we're talking about. Edilson is saying healing and education should go together in a spiritist center. Serving all the time and gaining happiness from that. Energy and magnetic share involved.
Yes.
He's giving us a hint here.
Yep.
Because I want to bring back the image of, let's keep in the background the idea that, look, our physical illnesses, they come from problems that we have in our body, but those problems, they might have connections with our mind and our spirit. Keep that in mind. Now we bring back the idea of the healers, the shamans, they have been around. They are a personality pretty much throughout all civilizations everywhere in the globe.
Yeah, exactly. They've always been there, always.
And just but you might say, but we also have doctors, and doctors, have medicine and can operate. Yes, of course. And there is an element of that is represented by doctors nowadays, because those people had a lot of knowledge around herbs and treatments and things like that is part of the knowledge that kind of moved on into medicine. However, these images, these personalities are frequently compared or associated to powers beyond the material. Many of them could heal with their breath, with their touch, with their prayers, with rituals. If we move to nowadays, of course, I have to bring the example of Jesus. Jesus, an example of somebody who could heal by the touch, by speaking, by a prayer,
by breathing, multiple stories and parables and anecdotes about that. If we keep moving nowadays, it's very, very common that you have different types of therapies. They are related to imposition of hands, the passing of energies, the cleaning of energies, laying on of hands, healing sessions. It isn't something new. No. Now, the question is, can anybody do that? Is that something that is widely available? It's just a matter of you do it, just do it. What the spirits tell us is that we all have some sort of magnetic level, so we are able to generate energy and so on. But some of us have an increased ability, let's say, to do that. These are the ones that can be more effectively applied into healing. They are mediums. Let me take a step back. I'm not talking about mediums yet. I'm talking about just the ability that some people have to generate a bit more energy that can be used and directed towards that. Faye, question for you. If somebody is able to generate that and create that, are they a medium? It is meant to be a tricky question. Well, I would say not necessarily, but also because when you say that one is a medium, it means that it's combining the knowledge, the ability, the experience of working with those energies, which are part of physics. They are part of our nature, and at the same time connecting to another dimension from which they will derive and learn to use more energy, another level of energy that is different, that complements the first. So one thing you can do well, that would be, you can call it psychic or paranormal, in which they are. It's a more refined work of manipulating and directing the energy, the existing energy of that inhabits, that's part of. It's not. Uh, it's part of the physical body,
Mm-hmm.
or the whole, the physical body as a whole. This is one thing. So one doesn't need to be necessarily a medium to work with healing in that sense, and help that sort of healing as a complement to orthodox medicine. However, there is the other side, which is a part that the mediums do, in which they need to train and develop the perception and the use and the ethical use of that, of accessing another level in order to perform the healing itself.
Perfect. Because I actually, as usual, I go to a medium's book, Gospel According to Spiritism, Spirit's book, and medium's book has a specific part that talks about healing mediums. And it's not a very long part, but I'm only going to bring one part of it. And I think it's good enough for us, I guess, the summary of exactly what you said, Faye, which is brilliant. We did not practice this, by the way. We did not practice this.
No. No.
Let me bring it here. So it's here, the medium's book. It's chapter 14, mediums, and there's here healing mediums. Then within that sub item, there is one question that Kardec asks the spirits, and it says, so mediums are intermediaries between spirits and humans, while magnetizers, who draw upon their own forces, do not appear to serve as intermediaries for any foreign power. That was just a statement, and the spirits commented on it. That is an erroneous idea. The magnetic force belongs to the individuals, but is augmented with the help of the spirits to whom they appeal for it. For example, if you use magnetism to heal, and you evoke a good spirit who takes an interest in both you and the sick person, it augments your own forces and willpower by directing your fluids and giving them the necessary qualities. A few things. It seems like a small paragraph, but there's a lot of things here to unpick. I'm going to start in the beginning. First of all, magnetizers and mediums, they can be the same, but we can also understand individually. Magnetizer as being somebody who has the capacity of creating the energy, directing the energy, manipulating that at its own will. Medium is magnetizer that partners with spirits so they can help, guide, influence, and etc. on that specific ability, right? Two different things. Can all magnetizers be healers? To a certain extent. Just like all of us have some level of energy creation that we all have, ability that we all have. But there are specific ones that have increased ability and are connected to spirits who understand how to use that ability, understand our anatomy, understand our spiritual anatomy in terms of how our problems are linked to our spirit and our mind, and they can guide and help in that sense.
Yes.
But it says something here in the first two sentences. The magnetic force belongs to individuals, but is augmented with the help of the spirits to whom they appeal for it. Which spirits are helping that medium? How? We always go back to the same item. How do we ensure, how do we know, how do we trust that the spirits they are guiding and helping are involved in that specific work or medium or group? We can trust they are good. Here there's an element, so we always go back to the same key, which is the moral aspect of it. What is the intention behind the group? How are they working? How are they offering this work to others? Is there any other personal individual interest behind that? Is it purely to help whoever is in need? How serious do they take the work that is being done? How committed are they? Those are the things that will show the seriousness of the work. Mm-hmm. And therefore, the spirit that is supporting them.
Yeah.
First one. The second one is kind of a byproduct, but it talks about evoking a good spirit takes an interest in both you and the sick person. First of all, we have the word evocation, which is a word that's thrown around as positive, negative, heresy. Its own, anyways. Evoke is no more than just inviting, asking, asking for help.
Yes,
exactly. Again, same thing here. Depending on the type of work that you're doing, depending on the reasons why you're offering that work and so on, the spirits will be associated with that. They will have the same interests. So if you're evoking good spirits is there because there's an opportunity to help. Somebody's in need and they are there to help. As simple as that. Yeah, Faye?
Yeah. No, but that also means that when you talk of healing through and with mediumship, it means that either the medium connects, invokes or connects to a higher assistance in order to use their own energy and magnetism to work, or being a medium, it enables a higher, a more able spirit to do the work. So in which the medium is purely an instrument helping, enabling someone else who's more trained, who's stronger, more knowledgeable to perform the help. And this means when there is magnetism, it doesn't mean that people who work at the level of exercising, using their magnetism, are not efficient. On the contrary, they can be immensely competent and sensitive and knowledgeable. It's only that it's a difference in the way the healing is worked, is performed. One, by using knowledge and understanding and sensitivity to work at the magnetic level, and the other goes one step different. She's one enabling a connection. That's that the first chooses not to do. So that's not my case. That's not how I choose to work. It's not my nature. So there are healers with different natures, isn't it?
Yeah. It's interesting that when you say that, there's two passages in the Medium's book as well. One is they were studying this medium, which was like a young gentleman or boy, and he didn't have a lot of knowledge about medicine or anything. It was quite a simple person, not a lot of studies. But then when that medium was in trance, it would diagnose diseases and issues and problems and prescribe specific treatments and so on, with a knowledge that that kid absolutely did not have at all. And remember, that was like the 1850s or something. So, and there was one of the investigations or studies while this kid was in trance, and he was being asked to diagnose a problem on a specific person, and he went on and said, "Yeah, I can see this, I can see the problem, I can see what it is." And then he was asked about what the treatment that should be prescribed, and then he said he couldn't prescribe anything because his friend mentor, which was a doctor, wasn't there. So it's not quite a healing medium, but it is somebody who, through the mediumship, could, I guess, prescribe things on behalf of this doctor. Yeah. Enable the sense of like lending the body, so the medium, the doctor's spirit could perform the diagnosis and so on. So it's not quite the same, but I think it illustrates what you were saying, Faye, in terms of the spirit can use the medium to achieve or perform a specific healing.
Yes, because it doesn't matter how experienced the medium can be in working in this field of giving assistance for healing. It doesn't matter how experienced, for how many years has done that. He or she is not the doctor. He is not the healer.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
It's not as if he absorbs knowledge that is there stored. He absorbs maybe experience, but not necessarily the knowledge. So when one says, "Look, I can't do this because the doctor, the spirit doctor, isn't here," that's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is proof that the medium is not talking of their own knowledge, but they are a channel. They're a channel to enable someone else to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I have a video that I want to bring for us to have a look together and maybe discuss a little bit.
Yes.
And this video I got from YouTube, from the iSpirit, and it was an interview with 3 doctors about their, I guess, additional perspective in how they were prescribing treatments from aggregating and spiritual perspective. So let's take a look.
Okay.
We have always practiced an integrated type of medicine incorporated to our specialty until we had an event in our lives that was transformative, in which our son passed away in an accident in 2005. And since then we have received several communications from him that led to the publication of 8 books. That transformed our views in the way we practice medicine, and although we are already away from the traditional allopathic practice, we attempted to open up to a different perspective. And
all medical training is very focused on science, and specifically as a surgeon, it's technique, it's advances, it's technology, and really pushes you away from all that thinking. You just want to become the best instrumentalist you can, you know, perform the most complicated things and be the quote-unquote smarter you can be. But once you get into practice, and that's when it opened to me, is that at the end is that human being that we ended up forgetting that there's a human being, and it's not a disease, and it's not an organ. And when you start having that interaction, I felt, to me at least, there was something missing. And that's when I kind of came back to my spirit's roots and apply this on a daily basis now.
Most of the founders of modern science were deeply spiritually motivated to generate science, like Francis Bacon, Robert Boyle, Kepler, Giordano Bruno, all of them, Isaac Newton, all of them were deeply spiritually motivated to understand the creation. And understanding the creation, they thought they would understand the Creator. So there are many interesting and complex relationships between spirituality and science. My interest in spirituality, in trying to understand mind, in trying to understand human nature, played an important role in my in choosing psychiatry as my specialty, to dedicate my life to that.
a few factors are important: humility, listening more to your patients, empathy, remaining open to our own spiritual influences, and allowing our patients' spiritual influences to also interact. And that gives us a complete different perspective of what we do.
What do you think?
Wonderful. It's wonderful. I was thinking just before you said that that nowadays, because people seem to be more open about the ways in which they seek wellness at every level, and if there was if there was a separation between what they call it allopathic or orthodox traditional Western medicine in the past, I think it seems that they are becoming more and more complementary, closer to each other, in which so many doctors and hospitals today see the benefits of complementing, of combining both approaches as a means to getting to that healing or to wellness. So what they said is wonderful.
Yeah,
it really is.
I think it's becoming, I wouldn't say it's a trend. I would probably say it's we have I don't know how to say that in English, actually. We are going further into our understanding. We're deepening the understanding of neuroscience.
Yeah, I think if it's let's put it this way: if they're promoting wholeness, and in this attempt to promote wholeness of body and mind and spirit,
Mm-hmm.
and all of it has been addressed and described and explained by science for a few centuries.
Yes.
It is even now, even more now. So it's not to say that they're combining something that's out of the scientific realm. No, it is still science.
Yeah.
It's only being open-minded to accept and resort to one level of science that wasn't being taken too seriously, or that was wrapped in fears and ignorance or prejudice or whatever. But these doctors are being really brave to go to think out of a box, to make that box a hexagon, or to make it a globe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I was trying to get, because the more and more now there's advancements in neuroscience that explain to us how the physical element of our body is connected to our minds. And that is just helping us understand the connection between mind and body, and what is mind if not an expression of the spirit. So we are getting there. I think that's we are allowing ourselves to understand the real connections between things now. But there is a very important item that is part of the conversation about healing from a spiritual perspective. Because here, in very simplistic terms, we today we said there's a disconnection between mind, body, and spirit. That connection is behind the illnesses and problems that we have. Therefore, if you think about healing, you need to look at the root cause. The root cause might not be in the body. Then we talked about the ability that mediums have to donate energy that can be used towards that healing process with the guidance of spirits that understand that situation, understand the spiritual element as well. They can see and diagnose from the spiritual side, and therefore use that energy, that matter that is being made available for that specific treatment, that specific moment, and guide that to help heal, soothe, reconstruct that part of your spiritual element that is connected to the illness or disease that you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
But there is one element missing.
What?
One element is missing. Faith. Because when I bring back the idea of putting the mind at the center of it, and then when I say mind being the connection between our spirit and how that reflects or comes to life, let's say, in our bodies through the mind. If you're talking about a disease or a problem who has a root in your spirit, and if you're talking about our body reacting to the energies that we receive, the thoughts that we have, in the same sense, it is our mind, it is our faith, our understanding who will allow us to absorb, receive, make use of the energy that's being directed at us, given to us, or not.
Mm-hmm.
Perceive something. I am not saying faith in the sense of blind faith. I'm saying faith in the sense of understanding how things work, trusting the process, trusting that specific work, because that is all according to my understanding of how life works. So it's not a blind faith.
No. it's what you're saying. And when I was listening to those doctors and thinking of others, is that no, it has to be based on informed decisions. And what the healing that mediums help to happen, and the ones that doctors, if they happen to be mediums, if they resort to the subtle knowledge through themselves or the help of another medium, they're showing that it takes a trained professional mind to find out, to identify possible causes, possible root causes. So they need to understand not only what they are, how they happen, how they operate, what the outcomes might be, so that they can help their patients or whoever they're trying to help to be stronger, to be healthier, to understand their process, to understand their causes, so that they're able to become more independent and promote that self-healing and find themselves strong and confident in whichever faith they might have. It's not a matter of one particular code of faith, but in faith in life, so that they change their outlook on life to their life in the present, to their life in the future as individuals and as selves in a society. So not only for themselves, but in the ways that they interact with their own nature and their young people. Is that
perfect? As you were saying, something came to my mind. There's a book called or titled Plenitude,
okay?
From it's Divaldo Franco and Joana de Angelis.
Right.
And in that book, there is a specific chapter or program or group of chapters that talks about self-healing.
Okay.
And it pretty much teaches us. It's like a step-by-step process, and can be directed at anything, any problem that you have. And it boils down to, starts in your mind, starts in thinking about what is the plan that I'm putting in place, and then seeing it through. But the transformation starts in your mind in terms of, okay, how I'm going to get there, what's going to be done, etc., etc. And the power that it has is immense. And I'm so glad, Faye, that you brought this element to this moment, because we're near the end here. And I have one more video that pretty much
cool.
concludes what you were saying.
Oh, brilliant.
So it's a short one. It's about 4 or 5 minutes, but let's watch together.
That's great.
Scientists have already showed to us facts that prove that the practice of what we believe in, the cherishing of our faith in general, the feeling of being connected to God, produces changes in our physiology.
In Spiritism in particular, we are very keen in working in our minds, in our mindsets, because that changes the way we see the things. If you change your mind, you change your life. You will see things differently. And you might be in the same situation, but physically speaking, you might feel healthier, you might feel better, you might recuperate a little bit quicker.
But the best health is the health that comes to the depths of the soul. So you can be physically ill, but yet inside yourself, in the depths of who you are, you can be healthy. It's just the last part of the cleansing, the sort of when we exfoliate ourselves. It's sort of a spiritual exfoliation, if you will.
Faith has been shown to have a tremendous impact on physical health, on the healing aspect of things. In Spiritism, we learn how faith can actually motivate our spiritual and physical selves towards the reparation of the body that is ailing, that is in the illness. Let's go back to 2,000 years ago. When Jesus had the miraculous healing, one of the things that he would state afterwards was, "Your faith has saved you." He placed on the person the responsibility for not only having sought him to receive the healing, but also to maintain it. It was one of the key things. We have a responsibility to maintain it. Physicians of the future will realize that many illnesses doesn't really come from just the physical aspect of it. The moral side of our being may affect our physical body and the health, the way we think, the way we feel, the words that we speak, the spiritual pollution that we are exposed to and which we contribute to oftentimes when we are vigilant with our own thoughts.
Put our attention on our sorrows and pains and troubles. Psychology supports the idea that it will grow. We believed we were victims of diseases, and we are not. We are not victims.
No doubt we can change our bodies through the power of our minds and our spiritual practice. The question is how much and how fast. However, we are often very incredulous as a society because it takes time. It's not just me thinking, and then poof, it will happen. But over time, with consistency and with development of your own thinking abilities, you can for sure influence yourself and your physical body and have a little bit of a healthier life.
That's what differentiates us between animals. Animals, they react, but we have the frontal lobe to make the decision to say, wait a second, I can rationalize and say, this isn't the best decision for me.
We see ourselves with greater compassion. I forgive myself more often if I have a connection with God and cherish it than not. And my relationships will potentially be benefited as well, which is part of mental health.
Why is important for us to know ourselves? Because our emotions and how we think and how we feel will impact us physically and emotionally on many different levels. So if I'm able to be more forgiving of somebody else, my emotional well-being will be in a better state.
Faith is so important that when a patient looks for healing and he doesn't have faith, it's as if he's standing on the rain with an umbrella. The water is falling, but it's not penetrating. He doesn't allow it. Faith opens up for the benefits that we receive, whether spiritual healing is taking place or that of the physical body. So faith is truly important part of the healing process.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it was very, very much what you were saying, Faye.
Yeah.
And yes, that's just kind of a wrap up. That healing and mediumship, yes, there is an element of mediumship connected to healing. There are specific mediums that have that ability. Let's say, of course, is always dependent on the support, the companionship, the partnership with spirits that will know how to use that and support that.
Yeah. I would also like to add one little thing, that whenever we say faith, we're not talking of any particular code or any belief, but it's the faith, it's the believing, it's the attachment to life and to a sense that anyone would have of anything higher, of call it creation, call it God, call it whatever sounds right to you. But it's believing that there is a connection, that we are not alone, and that there is a connection that takes us forward, that takes us higher. And whether we use magnetism or we work with or through a medium, it's that certainty that we are here and we move on, and there's more to life than just this minute. That's where the healing starts.
Absolutely. Beautifully said, Faye. And with that, I'm going to quickly go through our announcements. A couple of announcements for today. On Wednesday, as usual, I have Spiritual Light, so stay tuned in the Bus YouTube channel. Every week I have different guests and different topics, so go check it out, what's happening tomorrow. And then on Saturdays we have the Medium's Book Study Group. I have the details here if you'd like to join us on the Zoom. It's at 10:30 a.m. UK time. And that's it for today.
Oh, time flies.
Thank you very much, Faye. It's been a pleasure. Great topic. I love talking about healing because it's such an important topic for people to know about and where to find it. And
Yes.
if you're going through something that you're not quite sure yet and you don't see the results and you want to understand and explore, go find a spiritual center near you, or drop us a note. We can help you if you don't know where that is. And
Happy to help.
yes, absolutely. With that, Faye, have a lovely night, and I hope to see you in 2 weeks.
Same to you and to all your friends. Thank you very much for being here.
Ciao.
Bless you. Bye.